One thing I did want to also touch on before we get to the end of the Charles Leclerc talk, by the way, is that little scrap with Checo on the final lap, though. Oh, what a move to take P2. What did we make? Could Checo have done more? I think maybe.
He could have tried harder as a go-kart driver to perfect his craft and carry with him through his career slightly higher, just a slightly higher skill level, and then he would have been in a better position to fend off that move. So Checo was in an objectively faster car than Leclerc and had 5-lap newer tyres. So
he did.
I think we've already given him, and he obviously had lots of benefit through safety cars and stuff to get into that position.
And Max was giving him a bit of slippity stream as well.
And Max was giving him a bit of a slipstream. So I think we've probably given Checo enough advantages to give him a good shout at maintaining that position, and he still couldn't. So I'm going to say Leclerc did a mega job.
Just don't know why he just didn't even slightly cover it off. Like, it's the last lap. He's obviously going to try something.
If he'd have covered it off, we might have accused him of defending thin air.
Yeah.
And then if he lost out on the cutback, we'd probably be yelling at him for being overcautious, I guess. It would be the argument.
But he would have been fine there. But that specific turn, though, I think we said it in the show. It's not the same as like the CRSs in Brazil, where if you defend thin air, you are in the bin for the next straight.
Of course.
That is just the way that track is at Interlagos. It's not the case here.
And this was the last lap.
And it's the last lap. Like, if you defend there, coming out, it's a slow enough corner where the person behind just has to wait for you to put the gas on. And then it's a slipstream race to the line. Fairs, you might lose that, whatever. But like, genuinely speaking, I think he would have been fine.
I agree.
It's a learning experience. First time we've been here, but
to give you the opportunity to lay that wheel knowledge down.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate any opportunity.
Red carpet.
Any opportunity I get to lay down my limited wheel knowledge is appreciated.
I liked it. It was good. I did like it.
In Perez's defence, Leclerc came from a long way back, and when you watch the onboard, it doesn't look like there's a move about to happen. Until suddenly Leclerc goes for it. So I don't think it was a completely stupid lack of defence from Perez. I just think maybe he could have hovered somewhere in the middle rather than being fully leaving a door open on the.
And again, when Leclerc made that mistake slightly earlier on, which let Perez pass as well, I think that just demonstrated he was qualifying laps at the end to try and keep Checo behind, and did a fantastic job. Actually, we haven't. This is another race closer to the end of the year, another race closer to learning what will be Red Bull's driver lineup in 2024. Wasn't much of a race from Ricciardo, but obviously having you two boys on, and I know you've got a place in your heart for Checo, Spanners. How do you think that's going to play out next year?
I think it's fine. I think he's all right. It would be a real surprise moment, wouldn't it, if at this point they now pulled the trigger. All the noises they're making have been positive, and I think they gave him a bit of a hurry up, and he's probably done just enough. He's one of these drivers under threat, perhaps during the season, especially from a reputation point of view. And there's probably a few drivers you could list. Reputations have taken a bit of a battering. So Perez, maybe Russell a little bit this season, Sargent, Stroll, and they have to a certain extent, had the word in the ear. Sargent, stop crashing the car every single race. Like, just take the odd race off crashing, and maybe you can have a new contract. I think Perez just got that hurry up of and I think Horner said, you've got to stop thinking about beating Verstappen and just start thinking about your own race. And we certainly got, we had chats with people who had heard from the shop floor that Perez had insisted on copying Verstappen's setups verbatim and was still looking at, no, I can beat him in equal machinery, equal setup and go for it. Whereas the team, I think they might have just said to him, just settle for driving the best race you can in this car.
Yeah, so my point of view is I think Perez is safe. I haven't really heard any noises that we were a month or so ago where it was looking really shaky. And another performance here where he cemented his second place in the championship. Has he definitely got it now? Is that he had to outscore Hamilton by 6 points?
Oh yeah, no, I think
he would have done.
Yeah. So I think that he's done the thing that they said he needed to do to secure his place.
The biggest crime in Formula One history has been avoided. That's good.
But I also think that it might not be a good thing for him if the other teams are closer next year, because there's no reason to think that he's going to suddenly be closer throughout the season to Verstappen next year. And if all the other teams are much closer, then there are going to be cars in between Verstappen and Perez.
And not every race is a street circuit with traction zones, slow speed corners, long straights, which does play to his strengths.
Yeah. Nothing to suggest they'll be closer. What about blind hope?
I'll give you that.
You didn't consider that, Brad. You didn't consider that.
Biggest crime in history if he had not finished second Mark Webber not finishing second in 2013.
That is up there, to be fair.
Yeah, but Fernando was consistently
But you
up
can
there
say
in
Mark
Ferrari.
Webber.
There's not been a consistent second quickest, even team. Mercedes have been consistently like third quickest. Like they've not often been second quickest Mercedes, even though they're going to probably finish second in the
at least 2013.
Ferrari. I don't know. Ferrari had a good day.
This should have been a season where second place in the championship was absolutely out of the question for anyone other than one of the Red Bull drivers, with a car that's won almost every single race.
Yeah, bar one.
And, normally pretty comfortably. And like you say, an inconsistent, challenging team. Perez should have absolutely walked to a strong second place. So
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that I don't know. I'm still not convinced. I think this was a good race for Checo, but I'm still concerned for him. I do think it's the sponsorship that gets him over the line to secure that seat. If he wasn't bringing all of that, those big sponsors to Red Bull Racing, I think he would be really Ricciardo would be all over that seat.
I think it's a combination of that. Plus, they don't really need, Red Bull function well with a clear number one, and Max is going to do the job.
And there's no guarantee that Ricciardo won't just be a like-for-like swap either. There's no guarantee he'll be the same Ricciardo that they got in 2018. And arguably, that's actually a problematic Ricciardo because he would be too close to Max. I don't think he would be. I think he would actually be...
Same.
I think he'd be a better number two, personally. But
he'd be in more danger, Perez, if Tsunoda had just kicked Lawson's ass. He'd be in more danger. Had Lawson had more time to show what he could do, had Ricciardo not broken his hand. But even Ricciardo's race pace, when he's been up against Tsunoda, when you look lap by lap during the race, you look at that and you go, he's not really faster than Tsunoda. And I think reputation-wise, you have to come in and look a lot faster than Tsunoda. That's,
that's fair.
In the
you've got to pepper him.
Because I think Tsunoda's ultimate pace is underrated, but because he has a big mistake in him. For sure. I think that doesn't help Yuki's case.